October, and it's yet another amazing YND session. Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate your consistency in attending YND. A massive shout out to our amazing executive leaders who are always making sure that this program goes on with their support. We welcome you to YND. My name is Praise Shito, and I am so excited to be your MC today. Please do remember to make sure that your gadgets are on mute at all times, unless if you've been asked to speak by the facilitators. Feel free to use the chat box for any comments and any contributions that you may have. Before we start off with the main session, please let me hand over to Emelda Mubaiwa so that she can lead us in a word of prayer. Over to you, Emelda.
All right. Thank you, Praise, for that vigorous introduction. All right. Let us bow our heads in prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, I'd like to thank you for the gift of life. I'd like to thank you for the gift of today. For you are the most high God, the Holy One, the author of life. We come before you this afternoon, asking you to be with us as we begin this session. May we please be the pioneers of positive social media use. May we know how to use it that in a way that will impact other people positively. Lord Heavenly Father, we place Burundi into your hands. May it flourish. Please bless it, and may your hands be with it and not against us. Heavenly Father, I also ask that you put to an end the wars that are happening in this world, for we have already lost too many lives. May we please have peace and harmony in our lives. We also place our country, Zimbabwe, into your hands. Lord Heavenly Father, things are bad. Some things are good, yes, but things are bad. May you please help us get better. May you please prepare a bright future for our youth, their kids, and even our parents at this point, dear Heavenly Father. Please improve the things that need to be improved. Please guide us as citizens that we may do things that are good for our nation, and we may do whatever is best in our capacity, whatever we can do for this nation. We thank you, Lord. Thank you for everything that you've done. I once again ask you to please lead this segment. May we impact other people out there through this segment that we have today. Amen.
Amen and amen.
Thank you so much, Praise. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Emelda, for such a profound prayer. Who is excited to be here on YND today? Please show by commenting in the chat box, fire emojis, or anything that you can just send through the chat box so that we get to know that you are so excited to be here. I, for one, am so excited as we get to talk about social media misinformation. So our guest today is a founder of Mani Swari. She is a board member of the World Vision Zimbabwe, also a board member of the Contact Center Association of Zimbabwe. She is a professional lawyer, a corporate MC. She's a customer service and call center practitioner. She is a ZimTrade trainer. And also she has been with the Mandela Washington DC Fellowship in 2017. She is a Terra International graduate. Dear Dynamites, please help me welcome onto the platform Miss Nomalanga Ndlovu as she takes us through the social media misinformation part 2. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, how are you? I trust that everybody's great. My name is Norma. I want to start off by just apologizing. I was technically, oh, someone says Mrs. Norma. Well, it's Miss Norma. I'm not married. So I just wanted to start off by apologizing. I wasn't really video ready, but we're still gonna have a great, we're still gonna have a great presentation. So please do focus on the, please do focus on the PowerPoint that they're going to share. So yeah, thank you very much. So please do start sharing my screen on the first page. I'm gonna switch off my video for a few minutes as I'm presenting. Then I'll turn it on just towards the end. Great, fantastic. So my name is Norma, as already introduced. My name is Norma, and I'm excited about today's presentation, and I hope that you guys can follow me. Actually, you should follow me as you are, as the presentation is going on. You can look for me on TikTok, Instagram, look for Miss Norma, MSNOMA. So you should find me on TikTok, you should find me on Instagram, you should find me on LinkedIn. You can also find me on Facebook. I think on Facebook it's Nomalanga Ndlovu. So I'm excited about this presentation because my career and the person that I am actually has been, I think it's been successful because of social media, to be quite honest. When I started out, let me see if I can see your comments. Okay, yeah, let's put the comments here. Okay, all right, fine. So if you guys do comment, I can actually see them. So when I started out my career, I started my career actually on social media. I had just graduated from law school. I couldn't find a job for a very long time. I think for almost about 3 years or so. I couldn't find a job, but I had been working in Botswana. So when I did come back to Zimbabwe, I could not find a job, right? I couldn't find a job. And because I couldn't find a job, I then asked myself one day, what exactly am I good at? And I thought to myself that I don't think I'm a very bad speaker. I think I'm very confident when I'm standing in front of people. It was a skill that I had worked on for quite a long time. So I thought to myself, why don't I train people on how to be good presenters, right? When they're standing in front of people. And I thought, okay, fine, good idea. And then the next question was, how am I going to market myself? Because I didn't have money. I didn't have money. I could not afford, I couldn't afford anything, actually, to be quite honest. I only had like $1 probably to just get a combi from where I was going to church or going into the CBD to try and send out emails. And then my saving grace was social media. So I then made a decision that I was going to use social media to share my work. I was going to use social media to communicate with people. I was going to use social media as well to build a community. So 99% of my work, to be quite honest, even till today, from the money soiree to outspoken consultants, because I do also corporate training, which is in the team building space, grooming and etiquette, professionalism, how to be an effective networker, and also areas as well on personal development. Now, for me to be able to even get some of the jobs that I'm now able to get right now in 2023 has honestly been because of social media, right? I had to maximize on social media and have a strategy on how I was going to use social media for my personal brand. Now, this is just an introduction, but it's a whole presentation, to be quite honest, on its own, on how did I use social media in order for me to build a personal brand, and how do I continue to use social media to build a community, right? To build a community, it takes a lot of creativity, especially right now in the 21st century, because one thing that you have to understand is that in the 21st century, we cannot get away from social media. You can't get away from social media. People are actually addicted to social media right now. So I suppose in the midst of the addiction, from a business front and also from a front of you being in the marketplace and operating and being impactful in that space, it is important for you to build a personal brand and to ensure that you're very intentional with what you are posting out there and the image as well that you're putting out there on social media. Let me tell a quick story before we get into the presentation. So we were going for a particular fellowship, and there's this friend of mine who tells a story about how they tweeted, they posted out a tweet on Twitter, and they got into so much trouble because of that particular, they got into so much trouble because of that particular tweet, that by the time that they got to America, their tweet had actually been flagged, right? Their tweet had actually been flagged, and they almost got sent back to Zim because of that when we were on an exchange program. Now that shows you that, it shows, actually, I'm not sure if they posted it on Twitter or they posted it on WhatsApp, but it goes to show you how impactful social media is, right? And how important it is for you to start thinking about how you use social media in the future. Because when a person Googles you, for instance, in the next 5-10 years, right? If a person Googles you and then you happen to be one of those people who ends up becoming a very influential person in the world, something that you tweeted or something that you posted 10 years ago could bite you in the back. If you posted yourself out in a party somewhere, drinking alcohol, you're a mess. You might find that that is going to affect you in the next couple of years, but you thought I was just having fun. So you find that even now in the kind of work that I'm doing right now, I'm actually very careful about the kind of pictures that I post. Who do I post a picture with, right? So why does somebody even want to take a picture with me, right? So some of you might not even know me, but in the different spaces that I'm actually in, a lot of people that are in those areas will know my name. And because I work a lot in the corporate sector, I have to be very intentional about what people find when they check on Google. So if a person is posting a picture with me, why do they want to take the picture with me? Where are they going to take the picture with me? I've had some moments sometimes where a person takes a really terrible picture with me where I was just not in the mood. But for them, they will post it out on their Facebook and say, oh my goodness, I was with Norma, you know, this is where we were. But from our angle, from a branding perspective, we don't want that picture to be out there. It's a terrible picture. Like, I don't have any makeup on. I'm not looking the part. And so we have to now be very intentional. Unfortunately, some people might not be happy with it because it's like, oh, why don't you want us to take a picture with you? But for some of us, right, at least for the work that I do, it's a business decision. It's a business decision to say, I don't want just a random picture to be taken with me at a restaurant. If I'm in a restaurant, I'm in a restaurant having dinner. If I bump into you at an airport, I'm flying somewhere, right? I'm doing something. I'm out there doing something else. But if you post a really terrible picture with me, and another thing as well, the person that is posting that image to be with me, sometimes you also have to just think about the aspect of who are they? What are they going to post, right? Who are they? What are they going to post tomorrow, right? So let me get into the presentation. I'm going to run through it. If I'm not wrong, I think they're going to give you this presentation. So I think some of the stuff you guys are going to be able to read. You're going to be able to read through it. So I'm literally just going to be rushing through. So we're going to talk about quickly how misinformation spreads on social media, tips and tools for recognizing and verifying information, fact-checking in organizations, and also the role of social media and regulators in mitigating misinformation. Next slide. Right, yes, next slide, please. Right, so as they're changing the slide, one of the things that you have to notice right now is that social media is now, I don't even know how to put it, but it has its positives and it also has its negatives. The positives come in the form of a person can use social media to share, good information, to talk about what's currently happening in their country, what's happening in their organization. You can tell us the good work that you're doing, right? That is fantastic. People will like that. People will push that kind of content. But you've got the other side as well, where people are now in the business of sharing things on social media that sharing things on social media that are not true. And unfortunately, though, that kind of information spreads like wildfire. Number one, as an example, a couple of weeks ago, Steve Harvey was trending, and people were saying that Steve Harvey's wife and him were getting a divorce, right? That on its own, it's not good information to go out there, because as far as Steve Harvey, I mean, I don't think Steve Harvey has said anything, unless if I've missed what he said, but I don't think he said anything. But the lesson from that is, if you look at how that information spread like wildfire, it was crazy. It was on every single person's timeline on TikTok. It was on Facebook. People took that wrong information, but it probably just started from one person who tweeted, or one person that said something that was false, and the information went like wildfire. In some instances, you find that a person will post and say, rest in peace to this person, right? And the person is okay. The person is somewhere sitting out in their home. Maybe the person is not feeling well, but the person decides to just put it out there and say, rest in peace to this person. Every person after that starts making comments. Oh, rest in peace, RIP. Now imagine that information that goes on social media, that somebody just passed away. People are going to start calling the relatives. Oh, I'm so sorry about your loss. And the relative doesn't even know that, is wondering, like, what are you talking about? No, the person is not dead. And then now they have to call another person. So you see, one message, one tweet that is posted on social media has an impact, and it affects so many people. I mean, another person can have a heart attack. Another person can collapse. They can faint because of information. So one of the things you have to realize is that, as an individual, you have a responsibility to fact check information, right? You have a responsibility to check the information. Even if something is trending, go to the person's page, go to the person's social media to find out, have they made a comment about this? What are they saying about this rumor possibly that is going around, before you start spreading it, right? Before you start spreading it. During the COVID-19 pandemic, I think that was one of the most chaotic times when it comes to social media, because COVID-19 was a virus that not only affected us physically, but it also affected us mentally. It affected us mentally, and a lot of us were depressed. People were sad. People were in their homes, and as they were in their homes, one of the things you realize was that social media became one of the only things that kept us going, because you are at home, you can't see your friends, you can't see your relatives. Look, Hungwe says everyone was a doctor and an expert during that time. Exactly. Everybody was a doctor, but unfortunately, wrong information was being posted about COVID-19. All of us were constantly checking. If you felt a particular symptom, if you just started coughing, you went online, you went to Google to come and check. I'm coughing like this, irky cough, deep cough, cough with mucus. Does it mean I have COVID? My body is painful. Does it mean I have COVID? Pain in the leg. Is it COVID? Am I dying? It was a lot, right? It was a lot. And it's periods like COVID-19 that make you realize that at that time, we truly needed the correct information to be on social media. We needed the correct information to be on social media, because if we didn't have the right information, we possibly were going to die, because we wouldn't know what was there. So people were going there. I think that's when things like Zumbani were popular. People were checking, do I have Zumbani in my garden? Do I have Zumbani in the field? What can I do? So it shows you. I remember as well, and my whole family, we actually had COVID and we were all quarantined. But my mom's COVID was really extreme. And I went on Facebook and I read the different comments that people had posted, right? And it was actually in those comments that I saw somebody who shared a post. And the person said, listen, guys, if you see these symptoms and these symptoms with your family member, especially if they're at this age, go to the doctor, do this. And actually that post is what made us go to the doctor really quickly. And even though the COVID was like really affecting her, even though the COVID was like affecting her a lot, because of that social media post, right? Because of that social media post, it made us run, right? It made us run, and it made us possibly, that's how we actually saved her life, right? We saved her life because she was able, we saved her life because we were able to move fast because of the information that we found it where on social media. So you have to realize that every comment that you make on social media, guys, is very important. I know I haven't gotten to the presentation, but some of the stuff is there. I'm just actually repeating it already. But you have to realize that you have an obligation with what you post on social media, because your comment, right? Your comment on someone can actually spiral someone into depression, can spiral somebody to commit suicide because of a comment that you have left in their picture, right? Something that you've left in their picture. At the end of the day, we are all human beings. At the end of the day, we still have emotions. So you can imagine if you are an influential person, you have to realize that as an influential person, right? You have to realize that as an influential person, you're still a human being. Now, if everybody's going to post and say, oh, we don't like you, you are this, you are this, you are this, it's going to affect you. So as an individual, you have to realize that the phone that you have, the internet that you have, the access that you've been given in the 21st century, it comes with the responsibility. You have to be responsible. Do not just comment on someone's post and say, well, I don't do this, I don't do this. There's a video that I did on my TikTok a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about something. So I was actually going through the comments the other day, and I realized that, there were different comments. There were other people that became very, very angry because of the opinion that I was sharing. But it just shows us that as individuals, we have to realize that if we're going to be successful as individuals, we have to learn to we need to learn to operate in an environment, right? You need to learn to operate in an environment where you are not you're operating in an environment where you don't just attack people, right? You don't just attack people. Understand that Norma is different, right? Norma is different. Norma is going to have very different opinions from you. So just because Norma has a different opinion, or Norma is sharing one aspect of her life, it doesn't mean that you have to tell her that she's stupid. Doesn't mean you have to tell her that, oh no, I know better. No. Emotional intelligence is an aspect that we have to learn. So you're not going to just be successful in life just because you want your own opinion to be the one that's heard. No. In a fair environment, in a fair classroom setup, in a fair organization, understand that what makes us different, right, is actually it's actually an advantage. We should actually celebrate our differences. Just because Norma speaks a particular way, another person speaks and they've got a deep Ndebele accent, a deep Kalanga accent, they've got a deep Shona accent. Just because a person has a different accent doesn't mean that we should then use that as to ridicule them on social media and say, we don't like the way you speak, we don't like the way you do this. So there's a lot of work that we actually need to do as individuals, right? So let's define the terms, right? I'm going to run through this. I don't want to take too much of your time. So definition of terms, right? So dissemination refers to the spread or distribution of information or ideas to an audience. Misinformation refers to false or inaccurate information that is shared as well online. Digital environments, these are echo chambers. Digital environments are places where individuals primarily exposed to information and opinions that reinforce their perspective. Next slide. Right, so the role of user behavior and content sharing in disseminating misinformation, right? So let's talk about confirmation bias. People tend to believe things that they align with, the things that align with their existing beliefs, right? This is called confirmation bias. So someone already thinks something is true, then they are more likely to share information that supports their beliefs. So on social media, if you're a Christian, most of the time when you see Christian content, you're probably going to share that particular information because that is something that you already believe in. When something makes us feel strong or something makes you scared or angry, we're more likely to share that information. We also rely on mental shortcuts, right? For example, if we see something a lot on social media, we might assume that it's true. So because we saw a lot of people sharing that Steve Harvey was divorcing, most of us ended up thinking that actually possibly maybe it's true because of how many times it kept on being spoken about, right? So it then affects us mentally because we're thinking to ourselves, oh, this is possibly true. A lot of people were posting on their status that rest in peace to this person, rest in peace to this person, because somebody had died during the COVID-19. Seeing those posts mentally affected us. Seeing those posts mentally affected us. It made us think, oh my goodness, maybe I'm the next person. Many users also have limited media literacy skills, making them more susceptible to information. So a lot of people that are using social media right now, people don't know what they're doing sometimes, actually, to be quite honest. Like a lot of people don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the impact of, they don't understand the impact of what they're posting on social media. They don't understand the impact of the videos as well that they're making on social media. How are they affecting everybody? How are they how are they affecting everybody else? How are they affecting even the person that you're posting about? I'll give another example. Right now, if you go on TikTok, there's a lot of I think a lot of people in our generation are really obsessed about relationships. I don't know if I should use the word obsessed, but yeah, a lot of people are very obsessed about relationships, very, very excited about relationships. So you find that content in line with relationships, it trends a lot. Now, what has happened on social media is that you'll notice that a lot of men now also have podcasts, right? So men are sharing their perspective on relationships. Women are also sharing their perspective on relationships. Now, the people sharing their perspective on relationships is a good thing because it's showing you what people are thinking, the pros and cons of being in relationships, what you can use also in your relationships. But what it has also done is that there's a lot of battles now that have emanated between men and women. Instead of men and women in relationships coming together to work together to actually build homes and build families, social media has turned into a space where people are attacking each other. And that behavior is taken from social media. It's now even affecting us in our homes, because a lot of homes, even now, they're being run by the social media content that is being posted out there, right? They're being run by the social media content that's being posted out there. If as an influential woman, I posted on my social media and I say, I don't know, I say something bad about men, right? I say something bad about men. You find that if there's 1 million people that are following me, from that 1 million people, they're going to take my opinion of something that I say about men, which could possibly maybe in some instances be wrong, but somebody will take that information and they will apply it in their own home. So it goes to show you that what you post and the opinions that you share are not only just for you to get followership, but they are for you to be able to, you have to be able to use them in a positive way, realizing that you're what? Realizing that you are realizing that you're a very impactful person. So I can see that we do have a lot of other people that have joined. Please do follow me on TikTok. If you are on TikTok, just look for Miss Norma, right? Just look for Miss Norma on TikTok. It'll be nice to interact with a lot of you guys. And you can also be able to share some of my content there and then share your opinion. So that would be great. So yeah, you can follow Miss Norma on TikTok, right? So next slide, please. Like I said, I'm assuming that you guys are going to get this presentation so that you can be able to read a bit more, right? So the role of echo chambers, right, in disseminating misinformation. So echo chambers limit exposure to diverse viewpoints and alternative information sources. As a result, individuals may only receive information that aligns with their beliefs, further cementing and perpetuating misinformation, right? So it's important, like I said before, for you to try and get, information that is balanced, viewpoints that are balanced. Social reinforcement. In echo chambers, members seek validation and affirmation from their peers. This social reinforcement creates a sense of community, making it more likely for that misinformation is shared, accepted, and spread within a group. And also, you'll notice that the algorithms, a lot of social media platforms use an algorithm. An algorithm basically studies your behavior, studies what you are searching out for. So you'll find that if you're going through, I'll use an example that a lot of young people, I think, maybe have experienced. If you're going through a heartbreak, or if you are in a relationship where someone is not communicating, the moment you go on TikTok and Google, girlfriend not communicating, boyfriend not communicating, you'll notice that immediately TikTok will start giving you content that is in alignment with that, right? Because they are studying your behavior. You'll realize that sometimes people feel like, I feel like social media platforms know what I'm going through. So if you're going through a heartbreak, social media starts giving you content in line with heartbreaks. If you're looking for a job and you're in a space where you're focusing on personal development and you're saying how to be an effective speaker, how to grow financially, what is financial literacy, how to start a business. If that's the kind of information that you're putting out there and you're Googling, you realize that the different social media platforms predicated on what you're looking for start to give you that, right? They start to give you that. Next slide, please. Next slide. Right, so now we're going to talk about recognizing and verifying information, right? Okay, so right, so tips and tools for verifying information online. It's important for you to check the source of information. Now, one of the things that I personally do whenever I see a story trending, I normally go to Google. I will normally go to Google and check, maybe like Google that particular topic, right? To say, if people are saying that someone has passed away, so I will put X, or just put X's name, just to see what content is coming out. Most of the time, if someone truly has passed away, you will notice that Google would have picked up the more, like maybe like your different newspapers that are actually recognized, right? Recognized and approved. You'll find that they'll have those stories at the top. So it's important for you to check the source, right? Check the source. Where is this information coming from? Sometimes you can just realize that the information is coming from one blogger, and that's the only person that has that information. Look for multiple sources as well. Cross-reference the information with multiple sources. So it's important, guys, sometimes be very careful of the stuff that you decide to share, because you can see something on someone's post, decide to share it, and that other person deletes it, and you're the only person now remaining with that information, and it could get you into trouble. You can end up getting sued, because even legally right now, the social media law is changing in different countries. If you go to, like, if you look at internationally, right, social media is a big thing. And if you're in the tendency of just posting or using particular information, you might get sued. Now in Africa, please, I can be corrected on this one. In Africa, I haven't seen a lot of people being taken to court, right? Being taken to court for just posting things unnecessarily. There's this guy from South Africa. What's his name? I'm forgetting his name. He has a tendency of sharing a lot of information about celebrities. So he will post things out on about celebrities. Oh, I'm forgetting his name. But it'll come. He's a skinny guy, has like a TV show kind of thing on Instagram. And he always has a bottle of alcohol that he drinks. For anyone who might be following him, just do type and remind us what his name is. But he has gotten sued quite a number of times. He's gotten sued quite a number of times for the things that he has posted, right? So yes, someone just posted the name Musa Kaula, right? So Musa has actually gotten sued, and I think he's still in court for some of the stuff that he's posted. So be very careful about what you post out there, what you say out there, because remember, bad news sells. Unfortunately, bad news sells. So a lot of people like to, a lot of people, it's always juicy. I mean, if you go online and you hear that this person is divorced, if you hear that this person is like this, juicy information sells, right? So please check your resources, right? Investigate the author, find out who wrote this article, where are they? Is it a source that we can actually follow? For instance, if you look at journalists, like people like Hopewell Chinona, right? If you see that, oh, okay, so this is verified by Hopewell, it makes sense. It's like, oh, okay, cool. We know who Hopewell is. But sometimes some articles can't be verified. You actually don't know who the person is. Some people will just have like a very, very secretive account online. So information that's there could be information that's not true. Examine the content, scrutinize the content, and find out if there's any signs of misinformation, right? Any signs of misinformation. Next slide. Next slide, please. Right. So also you can use fact-checking websites. You've got sites like factcheck.org, where you're checking information, especially now as well, in the era of the internet, in the era of internet being information that we also use in school. It's important for you to check your facts, right? Check your facts. You can also run image searches. You also can consult official sources. When it comes to important news or updates, it's wise for you to rely on official sources such as government websites, verified social media accounts or organizations. And also, it's crucial for you to develop critical thinking skills in order to evaluate information critically, right? Don't be the kind of person that just takes information, which that's a lot of us. We just take information just as we heard it, right? You don't scrutinize. So yes, I'll keep using maybe like the Steve Harvey example, right? You just found that on social media, and then you're like, okay, so that's true. That's what's happening. No, go to his social media page and check, right? Also, be a critical thinker. Use your mind, right? Use your mind and think, okay, does this make any sense, right? This person is saying this person is saying this. Does it make sense? So engage your mind, engage your brain. Next slide, please. Engage your mind, engage your brain into finding out, does this information make sense, right? Have your own opinion as well, right? Master the art of developing and being comfortable with having your own opinion and being okay with having your own opinion, even if people are saying one thing. Because remember, guys, another thing that you have to realize is that we are now living in a time where social media is being used to influence us to think a particular way, right? Social media is being used to make us think a particular way. We're being influenced to think a particular way. I used the example of relationships because I know people love relationships, so people will understand relationships. If you're not careful, social media can literally, right, affect how you relate to people, right? It can affect how you relate to people. It can affect how you relate to people, even in your own relationships, because of content that you're taking. There's nothing wrong with you taking the content in, consuming different types of content, but at the end of the day, engage your mind to say, does this make sense? Is this thing very practical, right? Is this very practical for my own life? Is it practical for where I am going as an individual? Is it practical for my vision, right? What vision do I have? What goals have I set? Because you can take something from someone who's speaking from an angle of pain. A person can share information online. They're speaking from an angle of pain. They're speaking from an angle of trauma, right? That they've gone through. You take that, you apply it in your own home, and you do what? You start to bring havoc into your own life. And also, what is fast checking, right? Refers to a process of quickly assessing the accuracy and reliability of information. It involves conducting quick evaluations and fact checks to determine whether the provided information is credible and also worthy, right? We already spoke about some of the things here, right? Cross-referencing, source credibility assessments, fact checking websites as well. Check websites. You can find that some websites that you're looking at, possibly maybe they're also fake websites. So find the website, go to Google. Google, I think, is a very great platform most of the time where you can find different kinds of information. So check also the primary sources. Go back to the original source of information, research papers, official documents, first-hand accounts to ensure accuracy. If you're looking for business information, you're looking for information with regards to tax, go to the authority that is in charge of tax in that country to see if they have anything that is in alignment with that. Or you can even go to their Facebook page and ask them a question. Listen, I saw this article. Is this true, right? I saw this article. Is it true? There was a time, I don't remember exactly what was happening in Zimbabwe, but you'll find that there will be like a lot of things that will be popping up online, right? Someone will be saying, okay, guys, I'm declaring that we have this. Another person saying, I'm declaring that we have this. That on its own causes havoc, because we don't know if the information that is being posted out is true. You know, who should people follow? Who's telling the truth? So whenever you see things like that, it's important for you to go back to the source. Next slide, please. Right, so importance of fast checking, right? Number one, efficiency. It helps organizations as well to make quick decisions. If you are working in an organization, when certain things happen, you find that you may need to say something as well on social media. So it's important for you to say something with all the information that has been given. If someone passes away, you can't, as an organization, put up a post and say, rest in peace, X. What if X is actually not dead and it's a lie? So checking your information is very important because it will help you when it comes to making particular decisions, right? Making particular decisions. If people are supposed to travel and someone tells you that, there's an announcement that's been made and they've said that no person should be able to travel, before you just make a decision, it's important for you to check your information. Where is this information coming from? Should people travel? Should people not travel, right? So it's important for you to do that. Risk management. Someone says false news travels faster than the truth. Correct. In the age of information, let's be the guardians of facts, wielding the power of critical thinking and diligent fast checking. Yes, I like that. This is a Umali Matemba. Umali Matemba. Thank you very much. So customer satisfaction as well. Organizations that can rapidly respond to customer queries, resolve issues, and provide accurate information tend to have a higher customer satisfaction rate. Love that. Now, there's a reason why I love this is because I also work a lot in the customer service area, right? Through customer service training, customer service manuals as well, and also helping employees to be able to communicate effectively with their customers. Now, because of this, it's important, right? It's very, 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 very important for you as an organization to realize that your customer is no longer just coming to your office, but your customer is also looking for you on the internet. Now, I don't know if there's any person here who runs a business or works for a particular organization, but I'll just make an assumption that they're there. Organizations need to respond very quickly when it comes to customer inquiries, resolving issues, making sure that you're the first person that's responding there. When a customer asks a question, you may think that I'm just responding to one person, but no, there's other people that are going to follow. They will read the comment section. I believe that the comment section right now is one of the biggest platforms ever, because you will know that people, when they watch a video, the first place they go to is the comment section. So makes you realize that your comment section has to have the correct information, right? Has to have the correct information. And also fast checking can lead to cost savings by reducing errors, minimizing rework, and preventing financial losses by catching mistakes early on, right? Catch mistakes early on. Next slide, please. Catching your mistakes early on. So it's very, very important. The role of social media platform as well. Remember what we said? We spoke about accountability, right? We spoke about you being accountable. We spoke about you being responsible, right? Being responsible. Next one, please. I said I'll make an assumption that you guys are going to receive this PowerPoint, all right? So the role of social media platforms, users, and regulators in mitigating misinformation, right? Now, platforms have a responsibility to actively monitor and identify misleading and false information. You'll actually notice that on TikTok. TikTok nowadays, there's a doctor that was trending recently. He was giving out information, medical advice. And then I think they started saying that he wasn't actually a real doctor. So TikTok, I don't know if they put up his account again, but TikTok had to actually put him down, because they have a responsibility. Yes, Dr. Matthew, they have a responsibility as well to make sure that a person that is putting out misleading or false information is put down. So if you put up misleading information, you'll be put down, right? Oh, someone says he's back. I'll check him out. I haven't seen him since then, right? So it's important for you to check misleading information. And also, you find that especially in the era nowadays of people sharing their opinions, right? You find that sometimes you can build a social media that is actually not healthy to people. There was an account a couple of months ago. There was I think it was a YouTube account. There was a YouTube account that was put down. The YouTube account was being run by, I think it was 2 men, if not 3 gentlemen. And their opinions on women in that platform were determined, and they would say that the opinions were not affecting the society in a positive way. So that's one of the reasons why actually they were being put down, because they were sharing a particular angle of relationships, right? You should Google the word misogyny, right? So they were they were sharing information that society deemed, or people were deeming that, this information is not healthy, and this information is changing the way that people are relating in relationships between men and women. So their account was put down. Goes back to what I'm saying, that YouTube had a responsibility. Now, I don't know what laws YouTube placed in. I'd have to also just check it out to read a bit more on the article of what was actually said. But it goes to show you that different platforms also have to be considerate of the information that is being placed out there. Someone says sounds like self-destructions to the human species. Platforms also can modify their algorithms to prioritize credible sources, true. And then also collaborating with independent fact checkers can help verify the accuracy of shared information. Someone says very toxic. I think the word that we actually need to use is the word toxic. Toxic information has to be put down. Toxic information definitely has to be put down, because it's very easy. It's very easy for toxic information to actually trend, right? To actually trend. So that's the reason why the different social media platforms have that responsibility. Like I said before at the beginning, you have to share responsibly, right? Make sure before you just share something on your status, understand. I'll give an example. My status, I know that my WhatsApp status, depending on how long I keep a post in, it can have like 500 posts, it can have 700 posts, because of the number of people that I have as my contacts on the phone. So before I share something, I have a responsibility to say, listen, this thing that you're sharing, is it going to benefit people or it's not going to benefit people? Is it going to change someone's perspective or it's not going to change a person's perspective? So you have to realize that you have a responsibility to share correct and verified information. Users as well can employ critical thinking skills to evaluate the credibility of information. We spoke about that, right? You have to use your mind, right? Your mind is not only there for your mind is not only just there for reading books, but your mind is also there for you to critically think about a particular thing, right? Before you share, before you comment, before you say something, right? What angle are you even sharing from? Next slide. What angle are you even sharing from as an individual, right? Before you just go on and share and make a comment and say, yes, this is true. No, think about it. Use your brain. Think about it. Is this good for me to say, or I should just stay away from it? Sometimes there are particular conversations that it's just healthy for you to stay away. Just stay away from the conversations. Got nothing to do with you. Keep your mouth shut, because tomorrow that comment that you made will bite you tomorrow because of something that you said, right? So if you don't have enough information, don't comment. Or even in your video, don't be afraid if you're doing a video on TikTok to say, listen, guys, I don't have much information about this, but this is what I was actually thinking about. If you, I do that sometimes for some of my videos on TikTok, because TikTok for me is a space where I share professional information, but at the same time, I also share like different life situations. So I will mention to say, I'm actually interested in finding out what everybody else thinks, but this is what I heard. And this is the angle that I was thinking about it from. I want to find out what you guys think. So don't be afraid as well to clearly put it out there to say, listen, this is where I am. Someone says users must engage in responsible and sharing thoughtful evaluation, constructive discussions, especially on Twitter. People just say anything. Yes, Twitter. I have a Twitter account, but I just haven't checked Twitter in a while. The reason why I've I wouldn't say left Twitter per se, but I think for me, Twitter has kind of borderline toxic. And I say that with all due respect, but like Twitter sometimes has an element of toxicity. So I prefer, personally, that's just my preference, I've just preferred to just stay away from it, because I noticed it was stealing so much of my time and I wasn't really learning much. And also the kind of content as well that you will find there. I thought to myself, I'm not really learning that much. So that's the reason why, personally, I've just not been there. Here and there, I do jump in and I do go in to just check what's going on. But yeah, I suppose that's just a personal preference, right? And also the role of social media platforms, regulators in mitigating misinformation. Someone says no Twitter account, but based on what I see people post. Yeah. So I think it's Camila. Camila also doesn't have an account. So regulators can develop and enforce laws that hold social media platforms accountable for tackling misinformation, require platforms to be transparent about their content moderation policies and actions that can promote accountability. And then regulators can collaborate with social media platforms to establish guidelines and best practices for addressing misinformation. And then regulators can play a role in educating the public about the risk of misinformation and promoting media literacy. I actually think that we actually need to start having social media courses in schools. We need to have social media courses in schools where people are actually taught about social media from the time that they're, I don't know, from the time that maybe they're like in grade 2, grade 3. There has to be an element of being taught about the internet, right? The world called the internet, because I've seen a lot of us, and I've seen a lot of us, and I think I even did a video about this. And of course, there were different opinions that were shared about from people where, you know, we are the generation that posts very explicit stuff on social media, right? People will do competitions on if there's a song that's trending, you will find videos on your Instagrams, you'll find videos on TikTok where women are dancing and we are commenting, right? So the women are dancing, the gentlemen are in the comment section and they're saying, no, this is the one who danced better. This is the one who did this better. This is the one who was doing this better. That kind of content, right? A lot of young people have to be taught about that content, because you may think that you're just having fun. You know, I'm fun. I'm having the time of my life. But that video will creep up on you like 5 years time, when you're now going for an interview, right? And the interviewer is asking you that, okay, so is this the kind of person you are? You're fighting. I mean, I'll give you guys examples of videos that I've seen. You're fighting with your boyfriend. You guys are hitting each other. As the boyfriend, you're hitting your girlfriend. You're doing this. And those videos trend, right? They trend. I have it on my laptop. I have it on my phone. I have it there. People keep those videos, right? People keep those videos. So it's really important, I think, from everything that I've said out really in this presentation, I would say that my biggest takeaway for you is think before you post. Think before you post. You'd rather just have an account and your picture there, and that's it, right? You've never posted anything, but you just follow people if you like being on TikTok, or you just post one picture as well. I've always said to people that, you know, if you follow me on some of my posts, you're probably never going to see me saying happy birthday to my mom. I don't say happy birthday to my sister. I don't say happy birthday to my brothers. Why? Because of the work that I do and the vision and goals that I've set for myself in the future, I'm very, very intentional about the importance of even protecting them. So sometimes if you have a career that puts you out on social media a lot, right? Protect your family, protect your wife, protect your husband. You don't have to post them, because that comes with a lot of responsibility, to be quite honest with you. It comes with a lot of responsibility. I mean, there's a video that I did a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about a rumor that I heard a rumor about myself. And I thought to myself, you know, this is the reason why I then become very private with my life, because of the kind of work you do. You realize that the moment you put yourself out there on social media, you as an individual are not safe. So you can just imagine even your family members. So it's important for you to be very careful about what you post. If you have children, I've seen people that, you know, like to post their babies. Sometimes the babies trend. But imagine if you're posting your baby and your baby has 2 million followers. It means that you now have to be extra careful about that baby, because what you've done is you've built a social media footprint for the baby before the baby even knows exactly the impact that they're having. It means that your child now can't just go in the mall and just walk around like any normal child, because someone is going to recognize the baby. Someone is going to recognize the baby at the airport. You don't know people's true intentions, right? You don't know people's true intentions. And also, even I think right now we're living in the world of there's also the world of, what do they call this? There's also the world of stories, right? The world of stories, where on Instagram stories, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I do the same thing. If I'm traveling or if I'm doing a presentation somewhere, even this presentation, I'm going to post about it and tell people that I was making a presentation, you know, for Young and Dynamic and all. But you'll notice that sometimes it's important for you not to post in real time, right? Don't post in real time sometimes, because you don't know people's intentions. You also don't know every person that is following you. What is their intention as they are following you online? Some people can actually follow you. So if you post and say, I'm at this place at this particular time, another person can target you. Because remember, if you're in a restaurant or you're at a party and there's 2,000 people at that party, it's not safe for you to post that out, because you don't know, like I said, you don't know people. There's very creepy people out there. So just really be intentional about what you post online. Be intentional when you post online. Be intentional about who you're even tagging online. And also, just another thing as well, we're living in an era where when a person is at an event or a person is at a function, a person will post their surroundings, right? They'll post their surroundings. Now, you can post your surroundings, and I'm in your surroundings, right? I'm in your surroundings. If I'm in your surroundings, if you post me, people may then see me on your post, and I can sue you for that, because you're telling the whole world where I am and you never asked for my opinion. So not sometimes, you need to actually be very intentional about making posts and not putting people that are in your background in the post, especially if they do not know that you are posting them, right? They don't know that you're posting them. If you're going to post them, just make sure they don't find out, because when they do, guys, you're going to get sued. You will definitely get sued. So those are some of the things that you have to start thinking about right now, because in a couple of years, right? In a couple of years, in a couple of years, you might find yourself in trouble. My TikTok username is Miss Noma, Missnoma. Someone says many American rappers have been robbed and shot after posting their location. Exactly. Thank you so much. I've been helped. You never know what the intentions of people are. Never post in real time. This is pure revelation. And you girls should be careful of the pics and videos you give your boyfriends. Yes, that's also another one as well. That's a very important one from Fads and I. Some of the videos, guys, that are coming out there are not safe. Some people that you put your life in their hands and you trust them. They will take videos of you, they will post them. And unfortunately, the unfortunate part about society is that people normally think that the woman was actually in on the game. They think, oh, you wanted you to also be posted, but no. So it's not a good thing, guys. So please do check yourself, check the people that you're hanging around with, check what they are posting. Sometimes if you're in a particular place, you have every right to tell your friends, say, guys, I don't want to be posted on your WhatsApp status. So if we've gone on a trip together, if we've traveled together, there's nothing wrong with you telling people to say, guys, during the whole time that I'm in this trip, I would appreciate if you guys don't post me on your status. I don't really want to be on the status. If you want to post me, please first show me the picture or the video that you're posting because of A, B, C, D. So yeah, guys, this is where my presentation ends. Like I said, it'll be great for us to connect. You can follow me on TikTok. Thank you very much to Higher Life. Thank you as well to Young and Dynamic Global Leaders Virtual Fellowship. I hope that you guys, I hope that we'll meet and have different other conversations in the future. Have a great day. Thank you very much. I'll hand over back to the MC. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Miss Norma, for such great tips. You've helped us a lot. We're so grateful. I just saw this contribution from Luke Kungwe in the chat box, and he says that social media is a community garden with both poisonous and beneficial herbs. So you just have to be careful and wary of the things that you post, the things that you see on social media. You just have to be careful. And one more thing, Miss Norma said, and I quote, "We have an obligation of what we post on social media." So this again goes back to being responsible of the things that you post on social media. So going to the weekly announcements, as usual, please be able to connect for the Global Intercessors. It's open 24/7. You can join anytime, anywhere, wherever you want to pray. It's always open. And Young and Dynamic continues next week, same time, same place.